Hey, second grade, we are ready on this wonderful Wednesday to do our reading block. We're going to start with reviewing our selection vocabulary. You will need your reading books. So make sure you have those, and then let's get started. So if we take a look at our selection vocabulary, we have 6 words, if you remember, that are new words for us. Trembling, it means shaking. Avalanche, stones or snow rolling down a mountain. Leaping or jumping. Puffing, breathing in short breaths. Afraid, feeling fear. Brave, not afraid. So we're going to see these words in our story today. Now I do want you to get your story open, and I would like for you to please turn to page 160 in your reading book. 160 in your reading book. This is what it's going to look like. And it tells us that our title is Dragons and Giants by Arnold Lobel. And this is where we're going to begin. Now, over here in our banner, we have the genre, which says that it's fantasy. It's a story that could not happen in the real world. And then our comprehension strategy is making connections. As you read, make connections between what you know and what you are reading. We can already make a connection because I want you to think back to Unit 4, to our story that was called The Hungry Little Hare. Remember, The Hungry Little Hare was a fantasy. It was a fantasy because Little Hare did something in the story that real rabbits can't do. Do you remember what she did? The other animals in the story did it too. You're right, they talked. They talked to each other in the story. And in our in the real world, that wouldn't happen. But in our story, Little Hare stopped and talked to every critter, every creature that she bumped into, brushed against, or almost stepped on, if you remember that story. So we are in a fantasy story where Frog and Toad, who are friends, they're the main characters, they are talking to each other. And again, that's partly why it's a fantasy. It's a pretend fiction story, but it sure is a lot of fun. Arnold Lobel knew how to write fun stories. So if we take a look, there are focus questions. It says, do you feel braver when you are with a friend? Everybody just say yes loudly. Yes! Does saying you are brave make you brave? That one might take some thinking. Does saying you are brave make you brave? Now that's an interesting question. All right, go ahead and turn the page. All right, here we are. Okay. And it starts out with, right here, Frog and Toad. I'll pull this up and we'll get started. Follow along in your book. Frog and Toad were reading a book together. The people in this book are brave, said Toad. They fight dragons and giants, and they are never afraid. Oh, what are they doing? They're reading a book together. Hey, that's what we're doing. We're making another connection. They're reading a book together. We're reading a book together. I love it. I wonder if we are brave, said Frog. Frog and Toad looked into a mirror. Well, let's just pause right there. When you look into the mirror, you're looking at yourself. Frog and Toad are standing there in a mirror together, looking into it, and they're contemplating themselves. And this is what they're contemplating. They're saying, or they're thinking, I wonder if we are brave. And look, they're looking in the mirror and they say, we look brave, said Frog. Yay. Yes, but are we? asked Toad. Frog and Toad went outside. We can try to climb this mountain, said Frog. That should tell us if we are brave. Wait a minute. let's just pause right there and let's ask a clarifying question. Why are they thinking about climbing a mountain? Think about it. It says, we can try to climb this mountain, said Frog. That should tell us if we are brave. Why do they feel like they need to climb the mountain? Maybe we need to go back and reread. Let's go back to the page before and see if we can figure it out. It says, Frog and Toad were reading a book together. The people in this book are brave, said Toad. They fight dragons and giants, and they are never afraid. I wonder if we are brave, said Frog. Frog and Toad looked into a mirror. We look brave, said Frog. Yes, but are we? Start over. Yes, but are we? Asked Toad. Frog and Toad went outside. We can try to climb this mountain, said Frog. That should tell us if we are brave. Wait a minute. So the question was, why do they feel like they have to climb this mountain? To see if they're brave. Why? Oh, because they were reading a book together and the people in the book were brave. And now they're wondering if they themselves, Frog and Toad, are brave. Wow. So now their challenge is they're going to climb a mountain. And here we go. Here we go. Sorry. Frog went leaping over rocks and Toad came puffing up behind him. Frog's a bit taller, he's got longer legs. Toad's a bit shorter, he has a hard time keeping up. But they're doing it. They came to a dark cave. A big snake came out of the cave. Slow lunch, said the snake when he saw Frog and Toad. He opened his wide mouth. Frog and Toad jumped away. Toad was shaking. I am not afraid, he cried. They climbed higher, and they heard a loud noise. Many large stones were rolling down the mountain. It's an avalanche, cried Toad. Frog and Toad jumped away. Frog was trembling. I am not afraid, he shouted. Uh-oh, I think we better take a look again. Wait a minute. As they're climbing the mountain, the first thing that happened was the snake came out. And they were a bit afraid of snake. Why? If you said because the snake wanted to eat them for lunch, you are correct. Good. Well then, let's keep going. If we keep going, I want us to take a look here at this avalanche. Now remember, avalanche was one of our words, and in our vocabulary warm-up, it was an avalanche of snow and ice. But in our Frog and Toad story, it's an avalanche. But what is that? Let's go up. Many large stones were rolling down the mountain. So it's a stone avalanche rolling down. It could knock them over. They're afraid. And so they jump away. Frog's trembling, and he's the one who's shouting, I am not afraid. Interesting. Okay, turn the page. Here we go. Ooh. Now, so far as we've been reading, we've had them reading a story, and to show or to prove that Frog and Toad are brave, like the characters in the story, they're going to climb a mountain. As they climb the mountain, the first struggle they have is they meet up with a snake who wants to eat them. The second thing that happens is that there's an avalanche of rolling stones, and they see that, but they keep going. And now we come to this. Okay, this bird is a hawk. Hawk, ooh, one of our all words. And here we go. It says, they came to the top of the mountain. They're already at the top. The shadow of a hawk fell over them. Frog and Toad jumped under a rock. The hawk flew away. Now, I don't understand why the shadow of the hawk would make them jump under a rock. But let's take a look at the picture. What does it look like that hawk wants? Maybe to grab them with his talons so that they're his lunch? Ooh, that picture shows us a lot more than just what it says here. So the shadow of the hawk fell over them. They knew that hawk was coming, and hawks like frogs and toads to eat. So they jumped under a rock until the hawk flew away. Take a look. "We are not afraid," screamed Frog and Toad at the same time. Then they ran down the mountain very fast. They ran past the place where they saw the avalanche. They ran past the place where they saw the snake. They ran all the way to Toad's house. Wow. They definitely got their exercise in. Why were they running, you think? They made it up to the top. Interesting. So, let's keep looking to see what happens when they get to Toad's house. "Frog, I'm glad to have a brave friend like you," said Toad. He jumped into the bed and pulled the covers over his head. "And I am happy to know a brave person like you, Toad," said Frog. He jumped into the closet and shut the door. Toad stayed in the bed, and Frog stayed in the closet. They stayed there for a long time, just feeling very brave together. So, in the beginning of the story, Frog and Toad are questioning, are they brave? Because of the people who are in the story. So they decide to climb the mountain to prove that they are brave. So the question is, are these two little guys, Frog and Toad, are they brave? They've been shouting, "I am not afraid! I am not afraid!" "Oh, I am not afraid." And the question is, are they? They got up to the top, and what did they do? They ran all the way home, and one climbed into bed and covered their head. The other one jumped in the closet, shut the door, and they stayed there for a long time, just feeling very brave together. So I want you to think about that. Were they brave? Were they not brave? How might they have been showing they were brave? So, here we go again. "Hi, I'm Frog." "Hello, I'm Toad." "We're best friends. Woohoo! See you later." That's your story for today. What I want you to do is I want you to make sure that once this video goes off, you reread this story on your own. Take the time to read it. You could read it out loud to your parent. You can read it silently to yourself. Maybe both, but I want you to read it. All right, that is the end of our reading for today. Thanks, bye.